One of the biggest things that made a splash in the NBA this year, within the past 365 days, was the new rules. There was a lot of controversy over the way the game was being played by guys like James Harden and Trae Young. And while there's a loophole with the rules for them to allow to draw fouls the way they did, might as well capitalize upon it, and you can't blame them for doing it. But the NBA says, look, it's getting really annoying watching you jump into fouls and do your thing and shoot 600 free throws a game. So they come together, make some new rules, and it's starting to change the way the game's being played. We're seeing free throws right now at an all-time low in the history of the NBA. And you look at like the past 5 years compared to this year, major difference in the way free throws, the rate that's being shown. Dylan, what are your thoughts on the effects, now that we're starting to see, having like a full month of action in, the effects of the NBA rule changes?
Yeah, I think it is a big change. It's something that people are really taking an adjustment to and time to get used to. James Harden in particular, I think he's kind of off to a slower scoring start than he usually has been in the past few years because he's just been adapting to the new officiating. Trae Young has been vocal about how he doesn't appreciate the new officiating. They feel like it's swinging in the opposite direction too much to the point where it's missing obvious foul calls, and I can understand that. With any new change, you really want to make sure that change is being made, so there probably is a few fouls that aren't being called now compared to non-fouls that were being called last year. It's just a part of the game, and I think in time it'll even out, but right now it could be a potential fault. But as you mentioned, like the last few years, the NBA's offense continued to improve. In fact, the last 6 seasons, the NBA average points per game for a team always was increasing and increasing and increasing. But as of this season, that's actually the worst NBA average points per game for a team since the 2014-2015 season. And it makes sense because this is dramatically affect free throw attempts, and free throws are the chance to put points on the board with the clock stopped. So, I mean, it makes sense that there's a scoring, I don't want to say drought, but it's certainly gone downhill. Last year, the team averaged 112 points a game. This year, they're averaging 107 points a game. And that's with the attempted threes increasing this year, actually. Like, teams are shooting more three-pointers than they were last year this year. The pace of the NBA is up. The average pace, which is basically a statistical measurement of how fast a team is playing and how many possessions they get. Pace is up. Three-point attempts are up. And scoring is down because the ability to score the ball with the clock stopped is cut in half, basically. Average field goal percentage league-wide is down 2.1%. Average three-point percentage league-wide is down 2.5%. And average free throws attempted per game by a team is down almost 2 attempts a game at 1.8. This is a considerable difference because the NBA has been so used to growth over the years. The top 10 highest-rated offensive teams in NBA history have come in the past 3 years. So to have this growth and growth and growth, and then all of a sudden it just hit a dip, a really, really steep dip, that it is taking time for people to get used to. You look at some of the top players, it's not even just guards. You look at some of the top players in the NBA, their scoring is down. Steph Curry is down 3 points a game. Bradley Beal is down 7 points a game. Damian Lillard is down almost 10 points a game at 9.6. Luka is down 5 points a game. Donovan Mitchell down 3 points a game. And even Joel Embiid, who isn't a perimeter-oriented player, he's down 7.5 points a game just because he's not getting those fouls called on the inside too, because they're just letting him play more. So I do think there is something to be said that with Trae Young saying that the officials are swinging too far in the opposite direction now. I think it'll work itself out in time, but as of now, that is something to keep an eye on. Does James Harden bait fouls in the past? Absolutely 100%. Has he been kind of the face of this problem? Yes, 100%. But he's also been driving to the basket a lot. It's a physical game. But his free throw attempts are down over half. He averaged 11.8 free throws a game last year. He's down to 5.7 a game this year. That's over half of his free throws just gone. So, while yes, less fouls are being called, it's a good thing. I also think fouls are starting to be missed. And while I personally don't have a problem with it, I kind of like watching physical basketball. It does explain why the numbers are taking a dip the way that they are currently.
I haven't noticed a ton of difference, but I also don't watch a ton of Atlanta Hawks games and Brooklyn Nets games, which is the two biggest teams I think the effect is going on. But like you said with the officiating, I think there's like the refs are compensating for the foul, like overcompensating. They're like, okay, we got to enforce this now. And like you said, it'll work out in due time and we'll get it figured out. But right now, it's rough. It's a physical game. Like you said, I enjoy it. I'm not one of the old heads like, oh, these young bucks could never last. When the game I was growing up with back in the 80s, like, no, I could. Let me talk to you. I'll tell you about why these guys would dominate in that era. But that is neither here nor there. I kind of like the foul rules. They kind of annoy me, though. I don't know. It's a lose-lose situation. Seeing a guy jump into a foul that's obvious, it gets really annoying. But the way the game is looking right now is a little annoying. I haven't noticed a ton of it when I'm physically watching the game, but let me say this. Politicians lie, men lie, women lie, children lie. Numbers don't. Numbers don't lie, and the numbers are showing that this move is being effective from the NBA.
Yeah, and while you said you maybe not have noticed it as much, I definitely have. Like I mentioned earlier, the NBA game that I went to was a Nets and Thunder game. And James Harden wasn't looking to score as much, and he wasn't even looking for foul calls. He was really just looking to pass the ball because he knew he wasn't going to get the calls. So he's just kind of changing the way he plays now, and I think a lot of people are beginning to do that. Another foul rule that hasn't been changed that I hope does get changed, because personally I hate that this rule hasn't been changed more than the flopping rule, is take fouls. I cannot stand watching take fouls. Take fouls are when like teams get out on a fast break and the opponent just decides to wrap them up and grab them. Like they're just taking a foul. It's why it's called a take foul. I think that really kills the momentum of the game. Like it really kills the energy. I get why they do it. It's a smart play. I'm not going to discredit that. But I think that kills the momentum of a basketball game more than a player just kind of being smart, using his body, and being able to use the defender's defense against him. I think that, personally, I felt like the flopping, it had a place. It was way more prominent than it should have been because people were exploiting it so much. But I think it does have a place because I think it does have a strategic element to it of being able to use the defender's defense against him and being able to use your body and things of that nature. But the take fouls, I can't stand the take fouls. Like, they're so obvious. It's so obvious. Like, yep, I just don't want to play defense or potentially give up points, so I'm just going to wrap them up and take a foul. And then it's inbounds on the side and all the momentum's dead. Like, all those fast break crazy dunks. I mean, you're going to, like Zach LaVine on a fast break and he just gets wrapped up. That could have been a 360 dunk. That place would have been rocking if it was in Chicago. So just things of that nature, and that can improve pace and energy and momentum in the game and make it more enjoyable to watch for everybody. I mean, Giannis on a fast break. Imagine him being able to just go and dunk on somebody compared to two dudes going, oh, Giannis is coming at us. Let's just hug him instead. Like, there's no fun to that. So I really have more of a problem with take fouls than I do the flopping fouls, and I really hope the take fouls get changed just like the flopping fouls have been.
Yeah, we had the clear path foul, which is not the same as a take foul, but it's in the same nature of guys doing a foul to stop the fast break. And obviously this take foul doesn't fall into the same category of, like, it's not a clear path foul because it's not a clear path, but it is a fast break. So I think if they can expand that rule a little bit, that would be huge because, like, the take fouls are so annoying.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a strategic move, but it's annoying. It's more annoying than like you said, seeing a guy bait a guy into a jump and then jump into him and shoot a shot to get it to the line.
That's more skill.
Yeah, but this is, I feel like, I don't know.
It's lazy. Like, I don't want to call someone lazy, but I feel like that move is lazy.
It's not fun.
It's not.
Like you said, it ruins the momentum. We missed out on some great moments. Imagine, like, that Giannis dunk in the NBA Finals that really sealed the deal. Imagine if that was a take foul after we saw Drew Holiday get the ball and take it on the fast break. That won the Finals. Imagine if we got a take foul. The Finals would have been way less awesome.
100%. And, I mean, obviously I'm a Clippers fan, so there is bias there. But it seemed like when we played the Mavericks and we shot ourselves in the foot every game, it seems like. But every time we would get momentum, all of a sudden, here comes a dude at half court with a take foul on Paul George or Reggie Jackson. And all of a sudden, we got to inbounds the ball or run out of half court. And obviously, it benefits the Mavericks, and it is just a strategic move. But if the NBA really wants to keep their brand exciting, I think they got to eliminate take fouls.
That would be a good thing to look at for the future. I don't know how exactly you enforce it, but I think there's pretty obvious when it's an intentional take foul. And like you said, it's annoying. I don't see it as much in the NCAA. Like, I feel like the NCAA does a good job with it, but that's also not the refs. Like, the players themselves aren't doing it. NBA, the players are doing it. And there's a difference between the style of the NCAA and NBA games. That is one thing that the NCAA does do better, in my opinion, is with that game style and letting the fast breaks happen. Because there's few things more exciting in the game of basketball than a fast break, especially with the talent that exists today. Man,
with the momentum going, like a regular fast break, yeah, I mean it'll get the crowd energized, but I'm talking like you go down, you get 2 stops in a row, like you just force them into bad shots, and then they try and rush a pass to get a good shot, and you get a steal, and you get on a fast break, dude, that place is going to be jumping. And it's just going to be a really exciting experience and good for the game of basketball. And not having that right now because people can do take fouls, I think is not as fun to watch.